Hey guys, it's Friday, June 3rd. We're gonna plant some white beans today. That's the last time you're gonna see the puppies on a video. People are gonna pick them up this weekend, so back to just Annie, which is just fine with everybody around here, including Annie. They've been getting into everything, so. But yeah, we're gonna plant some white beans today. We gotta work up the field 3 times for white beans, spread fertilizer, pick stones with the loader, spray the field, and incorporate that spray before we start planting. So lots of work to do with white beans. So June 3rd is about perfect timing to be planting these white beans. That'd be getting a little bit late for soybeans, but white beans are a bit different. Their growing season is really a lot shorter than soybeans. We'll plant them at the beginning of June and we'll be combining these likely by mid-September. So it's not a huge rush like it is with corn and soybeans to get the crop in. Corn and soybeans, you kind of like them beginning of May would be ideal. But white beans and other edible beans, it doesn't really matter if you get into June, and it's actually probably better because they won't be flowering right in the really heat, because they won't be flowering right in the thick of summer. Then it seems to work out better for yield, and you'll still get them off plenty early enough that you can get your wheat in early in mid-September or mid to late September anyway. So that's one of the advantages of white beans, is you get that wheat planted earlier in the fall, and then early planted wheat usually yields better too, so you're kind of doing yourself a favor for the following year. Kind of a tricky crop though. They're a lot more sensitive to things like root rot. You need a really well-drained farm to plant some white beans on. They also don't come out of the ground very well. Like if you plant them and then get a heavy rain and there's a crust, they don't have much push. Soybeans can push through a pretty strong crust. So yeah, it's got to be on a well-drained farm. I don't know anybody around here who would try no-till white beans or anything like that. Like some people do no-till soybeans and seem to get away with it, or minimum-till soybeans. Most people with white beans, they're moldboard plowing. You want the soil as loamy as possible because those roots are so weak and the plant is so weak, it needs a really loamy ground to grow in. So yeah, the field we're doing was moldboard plowed last fall, and we're working it up now. And we work it up 3 times because you want to get it as level as possible. These beans grow really low as well. So soybeans are a little higher off the ground and they're easier to clip with the draper head, but the white beans don't grow very high, so you want it nice and level so you can get underneath them with the header and get all the beans. So there's a bit of an old saying with these white beans that you want to see them twice in 1 week. Once in the bag and once coming out of the ground. Because you want them growing right away, plant them into moisture, and then get lots of heat and get them out of the ground right away. Just because, like I said, they don't have much push, so you don't want them sitting in the ground for too long or they won't come up very well. The forecast isn't super hot, so I don't think we're going to get them out of the ground in a week. But there's not any huge pounding rains in the forecast either, so hopefully we'll be okay. Anybody else ever get it where there's something squeaking in the cab from 2 things rubbing against each other and you can't find what it is and it just drives you nuts all day? So a couple days ago we sprayed it with Roundup to clean all them up. But then yeah, after we work it twice, we got to come in and spray it again. So that spray is for residual, which is going to control the weeds that are coming up after we're planting. And that spray is going to be mixed with 20 gallons an acre of 28% nitrogen. So white beans are different than soybeans in that way too. Soybeans don't really need nitrogen, but white beans definitely do. So everything's worked diagonally across the field, and now I'm going crossways, like perpendicular, I guess it is. I'm trying to go back to grade 4 math here. Perpendicular, yeah. It's 11 o'clock and I am starving. They say that marketing your crop is the hardest part about farming, but I think it's not eating your lunch before noon. If I eat it now, I'm going to be starving at 4 o'clock. But I'm starving now. It's rough. Almost there. 14 more minutes. Yes. Well, Lucas is done picking the stones, so he's gonna take over cultivating. I gotta run back and get the Puma and put it on the fertilizer spreader, run to town and get the fertilizer, and then come here and spread it. I'm looking for the fertilizer for our white bean field. It was 100 pounds of mez and 100 pounds of potash. Okay, thanks. Bye. To make a video about spreading fertilizer exciting, but I'll try my best.
Only what everybody thinks they're going to. I think after that meeting, stocks will probably bounce a little bit. If it's worse or they say anything, you know, they pour over every word that the Fed chairman and the regional bank chairman say.
Coffee! Well, that's it for the fertilizer. So we still got some soybean seed in here we got to suck out, and we'll fill her up and head to the field. You missed this one. Oops. Well, I got a bit of an issue. Pulled the seed wagon out of the shed and noticed there's a huge hole in the side of the auger. That ain't good. So I'm going to cut a spray jug, put it on there and wrap a bunch of duct tape around it, and hopefully it gets us through this last field. Remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Couple of chunks of plastic fell out in the seed hoppers, but other than that, no big deal. So edible beans are relatively common in this area. According to the Google search I just did, there was 60,000 acres in 2019 of white beans and 130,000 in total of edible beans. So that'd be like cranberry beans and kidney beans and suki beans and Ativo beans, stuff like that. So it's pretty common in this area. Some of the fancier ones, like kidney beans and cranberry beans, people will use a special combine. They'll use a puller behind a tractor, pull them out of the ground, and then use an edible bean pull type combine behind a tractor to combine those. White beans you can get away with just clipping them straight. They're a little bit higher off the ground, so you're able to get them all that way. So that way, growing white beans, you don't need that specialty equipment. You can use the combine we already have. We normally try to grow like 100 acres a year. It's a riskier crop, but sometimes you do hit a home run. So it's fun to take a risk on one farm a year. Check out the depth. I'd say we're 2 inches deep. That's kind of where the moisture is. Looks like it's going on a little heavy, so when we get to the end here, I'm going to lower the seeding rate. We only want to do like 120,000 seeds per acre. And I think we're doing, well, it says 120,000 on here, but this is about 7% too high, so turn it down a little bit. That's better. So the goal is to get this done by about 5 o'clock tomorrow. Hopefully everything works out. Then me and Janet are going to go see the new Top Gun movie. Go out for dinner, crush some pints, go watch Tom Cruise. And that'd be the perfect ending to spring field work. Then take Sunday off, and then Monday, if the weather holds up, we can get right into side dressing corn. But when we get the last field planted, that's when things can kind of slow down a little bit. It's kind of nice. So everybody's pretty keen. I'm pretty keen to reintroduce myself to the kids. It's been a while since I've been inside for supper and stuff like that, so it'd be nice to slow things down a little bit. And yeah, overall it's been a pretty good spring planting season. The weather's been pretty good, and yeah, if we're finishing at the beginning of June with the white beans, that's pretty good timing, so no complaints there. up to 33 acres done. So that means I got about 68 acres to do tomorrow. I'm gonna call it a day. Should be able to get that done no problem tomorrow. So gonna go home and get some sleep, get up on time, and get back at it. So we should be good to go see Top Gun, I think. Unless something dumb happens, like a breakdown or whatever, but should be just fine. And then we'll be done all done plans in 2022. Now I got to do that scary walk across the field. Woo! I hope I don't get mauled by a live cougar. There ain't nothing more frightening than a live cougar. Always got to check the back seat. Well, thanks for watching.